So ladies and gentlemen, democratic people are very nice, but they want equality for everybody. We don't understand anything who is getting the equality and how they want to include you to help them maintain the quality when everybody is losing way more than they think and they are still in power as if I'm trying my best, I have good intention. Look.
All of this overflow has prompted Mayor Eric Adams as the day progresses. All of this overflow has prompted Mayor Eric Adams to ask for a federal state of emergency and for Massachusetts to declare one as asylum seekers flood their states and sanctuary cities. Leadership pleading for help as the tab runs up.
If we don't get the support we need, New Yorkers could be left with a $12 billion bill.
That $12 billion bill, that's the cost for 3 fiscal years. At the current rate, the migrant crisis costs New York City $383 per family seeking shelters and services each day. With 57,300 individuals in our care, the city says that's a price tag of $9.8 million each and every day. A day after that public cry for help directed at the federal government, we are learning that Mayor Adams is set to meet today with Tom Perez, one of Biden's top aides. But it might be a little too late. New Yorkers are frustrated that non-residents and non-citizens are getting so much help when there are New Yorkers suffering. Protesters shared as much outside of a hospital in Queens that is set to become a tent city for migrants. Take a listen.
This whole thing is only going to snowball because the schools are going to open in about 2 weeks. All right, and we're totally unprepared to handle that.
Look behind us. There's a park. There's a YMCA there. We have a charter school behind us, a preschool on the side.
This is outrageous. They are putting non-American before American.
But as the bluest of blue states and cities complain, border states like Texas and Arizona say this is what we've been dealing with for years. The situation on the ground here, though, guys, like I said, hundreds arriving each and every day and the city expanding into whatever space they can find. Tent City at that hospital in Queens. I was out on Randall's Island converting 4 turf fields into a 2,000-person shelter. City turning anywhere they can, but the residents here very frustrated with that sanctuary city status and what it means in practice. I'll send it back to you
Madison,
guys.
what does that mean for the kids who play soccer out there?
That's a great question, Ainsley. So I actually met a coach that showed up to practice on those fields, and he didn't know what he would do. New York, not a space with a lot of green space. Right. So you have to get permits, you have to get specific time slots. So he says each field is thousands of kids. Mm-hmm. So essentially taking 4 offline, you're impacting minimum 4,000 students in New York that desperately need green space for their mental health, for running around, for sports, and that's now.
Right. Let me understand it correctly. People can come illegally. You can lose these people. They can bring drugs. Texas has been complaining about it. Now you have powerful people saying it's okay, come over, we will pay for everything. And then suddenly they said, you know what, we're going to tell you to help us by force because you're a sanctuary city where the illegals can go and they can do a crime and you protect them. But then we send them immediately to you and now you're like, hey man, that's too many. Bruh, deal with it. And now you want other people to pay for them because you invited them? Bopolaginek, man. This is the most obnoxious way to help people. Why did you open your freaking mouth? You wanted to look as if you're Jesus?
Today declaring a state of emergency in response to the uptick of migrants arriving in Massachusetts. The influx has pushed the shelter system to its capacity. 22 News State House reporter Ellen Fleming explains the impact being felt statewide.
The migrant crisis has now turned into a migrant emergency as the state's shelter system is being pushed to the brim to house those arriving to the Bay State. Today, Governor Maura Healey announced a state of emergency with the rising number of migrant families arriving in Massachusetts and the lack of shelter in the state. Currently, there are almost 5,600 families or over 20,000 individuals in state shelter. This number is 80% higher than it was last year at this time. In a letter, Healey points to federal policies on immigration and work authorization, inadequate production of affordable housing, and the end of COVID-era food and housing security programs as all reasons to why the migrant emergency is only getting worse. During today's news conference, Healey stressed that expediting work authorizations is of the most importance.
We do need action from the federal government and the federal administration in terms of expediting work authorizations. People are anxious to work. We know there are employers around this state, across industries, who are looking for that workforce. Our call is for federal funding as well as work authorizations, and to that end, we'll take it through any means possible.
Most importantly, if you have an extra room or suite in your home, please consider hosting a family. Safe housing and shelter is our most pressing need. Become a sponsor family. You can contact the Brazilian Worker Center for more information on how you can step up if you're willing to have an additional family be part of your family. If you're a local official, a college president, a business owner, or a faith leader with an available building or space in your community, please work with us to offer it as a shelter site. If you're a social service provider, please consider becoming an emergency assistance homeless shelter provider. Our resources are stretched thin there as well. And if you're a hotel or a motel owner, consider opening it up for emergency assistance. If you're a landlord or a property owner, we can use you too. We can connect you with service providers to help transition families into permanent housing. Everyone has something they can offer.
Why does she have a condescending smile in a way that I hope this is working? Like, I don't trust you.
As of now, 43 hotels and motels around the state are being used as emergency shelters. And just last week, it was announced that a dorm at Eastern Nazarene College in Quincy would be used to shelter up to 58 families. If you are looking to help, please head to our website at wwlp.com for information on donations and how you can become a host family. Working for you at the State House in Boston, Ellen Fleming, 22 News.
And with all due respect, man, I don't mind helping people, and I think most people don't mind helping people. I think most people care about the possibility that if they even try to help and something goes not the way they planned it or they thought, you will never give them the house back, or you will tell them, well, you need to go tell them they're not supposed to live there. You won't apply the rules. You will take, you give a finger, and you take the whole freaking hand.
Well, think about what happened in the last few months. We have created a funnel. All of the bordering states have now took the funnel right to New York City. New York City is the economic engine of this entire state and country. If you decimate this city, you're going to decimate the foundation of what's happening. Look at Chicago, Los Angeles, Houston, and now you're hearing the governor of Massachusetts. And so when people say, well, we gave them $100 million, $12 billion bill?
Yeah.
I mean, what
so
table are we dining at?
When you see all the people that are just laying in the streets, you walk by, it is jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
And the numbers keep coming and coming when you think, I don't have any more room at the end, so to speak.
Along with the unhoused people we already have here.
Exactly. And think about the miracle that took place over the last year in April when this really started coming from a governor who wanted to use people as pawns.
Now they are a pawn being used, right? Did you invite them over? I think you did. Aren't you a sanctuary city, right? Oh no, you want them to come through that door all over there, and if they manage to reach your point, when they commit a crime, it's safe. And you all got the moral points, you feel good about yourself. You have all the money. They're destroying your system. You're getting swamped with the money issue. I'm like, so you're the one with the money. So what about those that don't have the money? They need to take the brunt because that's the new normal? If you just said all that at the same time, and at the end you said, you know what, but I have to be honest, we can't handle the amount of people, we need to block the border, I would actually agree with you. If you said you can give your house to certain people or your building or your church, but when they break this specific rule that we're going to work on so they don't break it, then you can get your building back. Then I will sign. But a lot of people... But we know that will never happen because you will never admit your mistake. But what's happening in USA right now is the same thing that happened in Venezuela. It's the same thing that happened in Chile. The same laws, same different consequences, but same laws. They bring destruction. I just wanted to let you people know that this is happening and they still don't admit their mistake. They want you to help them though.